All my life, I never knew what a home was, but when I arrived at Eden, I started to understand what that word meant. This is my story of love and justice. When I was 3, my parents died. I went to live with my aunt, but I suffered a lot of physical abuse. I always knew she didn't want me, and one day she gave me to one of her friends to work in a house. I worked there for a short time, until one day 2 men came to the village and said they wanted to buy me to go and work in Thailand. I was 11. My owners took their money, and I was taken across the border to a terrible place where very young girls around my age were sold for sex. I refused to cooperate in the beginning, refused to eat, and to be with the men that they brought to me, but they beat me so badly that I nearly died. The other girls came to me and tried to comfort me and told me to just give in and surrender, or they would kill me as they had done to others. I often dreamed about how I could stop this place from existing, how I could destroy it and all it stood for. After 3 years, I was too old to work in that place, so I was sold at 14 to a KTV in Bangkok. There was more freedom than the last place, and sometimes I was allowed to go outside. I met this guy who seemed to be kind to me. He asked me to be his girlfriend, and I thought he could protect me. I went to visit him in his apartment and was sleeping there when there was a police raid and they arrested everyone for drugs. They took me to the police station and asked me for my papers. I was so shaken. I told them everything about where I had been held captive, about the bad place with all the children. I didn't know what trafficking was, but the policewoman I spoke with seemed to understand what had happened to me. They didn't arrest me, but took me to a nice place with kind people and said they would help me return to Myanmar. Later, a police chief came to talk to me and told me I could help shut down those bad places I had been and see justice done for the men who owned them. I told them everything I knew, names, places, times, who came, which police were involved, and what kind of people came. In those 3 years, I had waited and watched and listened. No one had thought I was paying attention. No one expected me to give evidence. My evidence helped take down the brothel owners who both received a life sentence. When I was in court, it felt so good to finally be heard, to tell them what they had taken from me, and to see justice done. I did it in the name of justice. I did it to keep other girls from ever experiencing the life they had given me. From when I first arrived at Eden, I was surrounded by the atmosphere of a loving home. I felt safe, I felt loved. Eden is like a family, something I had been missing all of my life. Today, I'm proud to make jewelry that reminds people to stand for love and justice. I hope that when this collection is worn, it is a reminder that when we are brave, we can bring justice for other women.